Hi everyone, welcome to this video where I'm working on this Vauxhall Insignia, which is actually quite a new car and not one that I've worked on before. So I'm doing this video on how to do the ambient light install. It's actually a pretty nice car. It's a 67 plate, so it's only a few years old. And having a quick look around the interior, it's a pretty nice place to be honest with you. Now the owner of the car has recently picked it up. I think he's only had it for a good few days now, so it's very new to him still, but he's already added a few personal touches and he's already looking to do the ambient lighting because it's something that originally we spoke about quite a while back. So this is the car that he's got right now and we're just looking to go ahead with it straight away. The car does have a little bit of factory ambient lighting just across here and a little bit across the dashboard, but that's all white at the moment. There's nothing at the rears, so we're gonna look at carrying on the same flow, same everything as the original ones, whilst also adding a little bit extra as well. So we're just doing strip lights in this one, so just strips going all the way across, and some in the center console as well as the footwell lights. So I'm gonna look at starting off with the rear one, just do one on my own and just try to figure everything out because there's not a huge amount of information on this car, and then going on from there be able to look at tearing it all down and showing you all what the process is to take all the doors apart and the center console as well. So here's a lowdown everyone, taking apart this door, and it's good news. So inside the doors there's a really small little LED for the door handles. Now that little LED allows a live and earth to be sent to it, which is actually 12 volts. It runs off the same line for the dial controls for the brightness, so as long as it's on max, it's on 12 volts, which is exactly what we need. Now going on from here, now I'm going to look at the door, see how to get the ambient light strip to go across and through it. The good news is we know that the doors do have a live and earth going to them. It's going to be the same for the fronts. In fact, the front ones with the ambient light strip that's already in there, that's basically what the wires I'm going to be using to install this. But the main hard part probably is going to be the center console and the footwell lights, so that's why I'm going to probably spend a lot of time. Everyone, I've been working away, and actually this car's pretty interesting. I'm gonna flip the camera around so you guys can all see where I've gotten to right now, which is a bit of a crazy mess with so many panels removed. So I'll go through everything as I'm putting it all back together. And unfortunately I was pulling things apart just to kind of figure it all out, and next thing you know I'm here. So it's a bit of a different one because a lot of the things are held in with clips, so I definitely recommend using gloves because you got to hold onto the plastics and pull really hard, and you don't want to end up cutting yourself on anything. There's not a huge amount of screws that has been used in this whole section right now, but what I'm doing is just routing up some of the fiber optic stuff. I'm going to finish routing all the wires and everything, and then I'll go through where I'm tapping into and all the other stuff, as well as what to do with each of the doors. So just give me a moment. So everyone, I've got the GoPro on my head right now. So I've made 2 strips of fiber optic, quite long. These are going to go across the center console, just across here. So I wanted to show you all what I've done. So the wiring here for the cigarette lighter, the black is the earth and the purple is the live. That's what I'm tapping into, and you do end up having to move around quite a few bits and pieces to get good access here. So I'm going to just start putting things back together because then we can line all of this up and make sure it goes on perfectly. So we've got the footwell wires coming across. I've just fed it through down this way over onto this side, and then just across the trim here to get it over on the other side, as well as some of the wiring for the 2 fiber optic lights, one up here and one on the other side. They're gonna go through on the other side. So let me just grab the other pieces of trim. So for example, this is the cigarette lighter port. Let's make sure that none of the wiring at the back is going to trip it up when it comes to putting this guy back in. I'm just going to remove that for now. Hopefully that shouldn't cause any problems. And that's it. That's nice. So that's good. We can see that that goes in right. So now I'm able to get the fiber optic lines. Now One of these is going to come through from the left and the other one is going to come through on the right. The one on the left is going to be the one that I want to make sure I get sorted out and put in before anything else. So just grab one of these guys, put this through. So there we go, that's one already in place now. And in essence, the other one, I can put, there's 2 screws here, the 2 8mm, which I've just got down here. So I can start putting those guys back on. But that will lock this whole piece into place. In fact, before I do that, I'm just gonna make sure this guy slides back in comfortably. And it's not something weird where it has to come off before the rest of it. Nope, that's nice. See, that fits in nicely just there. So yeah, just get these 2. Okay. Now from here I can connect that guy back up. That's nice. And then this piece of ambient lighting will just be pressed into here. Now if you notice, what I did there was when I took this off, I just grabbed it here and just pulled it upwards, and the whole thing just basically started to come apart. Let me just use this guy just to create, oh, it's going to be a tight one here. So got this over here, it's got the one cable that goes into it, which is actually a really short cable, so you kind of got to connect and disconnect it right next to the whole thing. So press that in. It does get in there quite tightly. I'll be honest, when I was taking it out, I was just like, oh my god, this is so tight. Why is it so tight? But it's not a bad thing. If anything, it's a good thing. It shows that actually Vauxhall, shows how Vauxhall made it well. Okay, so put this trim piece in next. So here's what's up, guys. I've put the trim pieces, a couple of them back in place. This one is one of them, and this piece here. To take this off, you have to actually take off this part above the column. You just got to pull on it quite nicely, or get a trim removal tool in here and just pull it apart. Same on the other side, and that will kind of slide forward, and that will allow you to take off the vent. So just behind through there as well is where I fed the cables for the Fibre Optic, so it kind of just goes around the trim piece. This guy is quite nice. It's just held in with clips again. You can see them all just in place, so you know, I can just slot that back in nicely. We've got this guy just over here. Now I actually took this off, but I don't think you'd really need to take this off, so just gotta push it all back into place just like that. Get that piece out. So we're using a trim removal tool. So you want to secure and tuck in all the wiring just behind there, and then we'll be looking at putting on the rest of the trim pieces. So I'm just gonna sort out the footwell lights, make sure that's all in the right place before I do all of that. Now I'm just gonna tuck in all that wiring, and then I'll catch up with you all shortly. So now with the wiring all tucked in and the footwells all kind of sorted, this trim piece is next to go in. So it's gonna basically come over and under. So I think actually I need to lift. No, I don't really want to lift that one up again. No. Right, I think I need to lift this piece back out, because where this goes, it goes underneath it. So that's very unfortunate, because that was pretty hard work to get in. But we do what we gotta do to do a proper job. It's pretty awkward on how to get this into its right place, because there's clips going this way and there's clips going that way and up, and there's this one going downwards. It might require this to be taken out again. I'm showing you all of this so you can all learn from any mistakes I make as well. I'd much rather share this information with you guys than for you all have to learn it the hard way completely. Right, okay, yeah, there we go. So not sure how much of that you have to remove to get this to fit in there nicely, but you all saw what I just did then, which was just loosen it up. It's probably a good point to give the car a quick little test run, make sure everything's working as nicely as we want it to. Got all this put back into place. that was pretty challenging. Now I just got to get this side piece back on. So I've got the clip going, well, the one point here and these two over here, and oh man, I just realized I got to take this guy back off again. The amount of times I've had to remove this already, it's not very fun, I will say. But like I said before, it's all about learning together. There we go. Jeez, that's a lot harder to force in than you realize it's going to be. Let's just press these guys in a little bit so we know roughly where they're supposed to go. We'll sort these two strands out later. That's all the hard wiring all done for the center console. We just got to route around the footwell lights, but hopefully that won't be too bad. So I've got to do it on that side. The front one's done over here, so just got to do the one underneath this seat, and same on the other side. But let's go to looking at the doors next. So everyone, in order to take apart the doors, it's a couple of little things. So we've got to remove this little trim piece in here, which isn't too hard. You just got to get in. You can either like try to get it from the top right or top left. Either one, just be careful with it and it'll pop right out. So you got 1 8mm just there, 2 just in this corner, and 2 at the bottom. And then you'll be able to just use the trim removal piece for the doors and just pop it off. The rears are exactly the same, apart from instead of 2, there's only 1 just at the bottom there. So gonna look at doing both of them now very quickly, and then I'll show you all what we do with the doors to get the ambient lighting looking real nice and clean. So then we just get the trim removal tool, bring it across. I like to start from the inside. There we go. My gosh. Right, so once you've popped off all of the clips all the way around, we've got to then prise it away from this corner, and then bit by bit take off all the clips all the way around. Got this really weird like little red connector clip removal stoppers or something. Don't know what they're called.
1 eternity later.
Right, eventually get a door off. So for the actual door, the trim piece just above here is what we're going to be using as the place for the fibre optic, and I'm just going to drill a small hole into this corner just here. I'm going to need some trim removal pieces to just leave this a little bit wedged up while I drill that hole, but you want to be careful not to damage any of this. And that's going to be the access point for the fibre optic to come across nicely. The rears are a little bit easier, but with the front, that's what we're going to be doing. Let's see how I did it. I'm using the really small drill bit there because I really want to make sure the hole is as small as it needs to be. I'm trying to make sure the hole is as small as it can be. So I'm just bit by bit going to be drilling it out. Once you get the thread through, just over here, I drill a little hole. This is going to allow the fibre optic to come through, and then we can just take these guys out, then just slot all of this in really nicely like that. Chop it off towards the end, and that's the door basically done. On this side, we'll add the little end caps just in a moment. Now with the fibre optic side of this, that gets different on both. So with the fibre optic live and earth, we need to tap into this, the yellow and black wire. So this connection point here, which comes over to this guy, that is the live and earth for the ambient lighting. So it's for the door handle, as well as the white strip that goes all the way across. The yellow is the live and the black is the earth. So it's just going to be a matter of just tapping into those. As you know, with the ambient lighting, they just need a live and earth to them. So tap those in using the T connectors, and then that's basically the door done. With the rears, it's a little bit different. Whereas on the rears, it doesn't have this on the actual door. It's still on the metal part of the door. So you just tap into it there, but I'll show you that when I get to it. And so that's how it all looks. I've just connected it up to there, got the fibre optic connected up. This is just gonna clip into the door at the moment. So that's one door done. Up next is gonna be the rear door. So everyone, with regards to the lighting here, so the black and yellow wire here, yellow's alive, black is the earth again. That's where I've done the T connector point. And just over on the door, as you guys can see, I've brought this around and over instead of having to drill in a hole, because it practically comes up to the end anyway. So you'll see how that looks once it's all fitted on. Time to get the last door back onto the car. And that's a wrap, everyone. The car is all done. I think it's time to look around and just enjoy some really nice clean ambient lighting. So let's go. This is how the ambient lighting looks with it all turned off. You can hardly notice it at all anywhere. Then once we turn the car on, let's turn some of the lights off inside the garage. So everyone, that is a wrap with this car. It's actually not too bad of an install. What I will say is obviously when you're doing it the first time, especially for me, there's not a huge amount of information on how to remove panels and stuff. So I did take a lot longer to do this, but I think if you were to tackle this yourself easily, you could get it done in about 5-6 hours. Obviously, if you have the right tools and everything. And everyone, I basically wanted to add this version of me in the future clip. Basically, all I wanted to say whilst editing this video is this is quite an old video, and since that install, I have obviously done a lot of other kits. For example, the LED bead or the Symphony versions, which I had a few clips of what they look like now. I think they would actually work quite well with this car, with the straight lines on the door and the center console and stuff. The only point I don't think it will work so well with is on the dashboard, where you've got the curve basically coming round. I don't think it's going to be that great there. So for that part, you're going to need to skip the curve and then just do the straight line going up, or, you know, etc. on the other side. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to add. I'll leave a link for everything in the description down below, as well as a link to a video explaining the differences to all the kits. But yeah, let's get back to wrapping up this video. But yeah, if you wanted to get in touch with me to get this done, please hit me up on Instagram. I'll leave a link for everything down below. If you want to also look at please subscribing to the channel. End of the day, it's always a support system, so it rewards me for knowing that, you know what, people are enjoying the content, which is also backed up with a like. And yeah, if you think I could have done anything differently, please leave it in the comments down below, because end of the day, that's the only way we look at progressing. But for now, everyone, I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Peace out. Bye. Oh, and YouTube, please recommend something nice for my viewers. Thank you.